Hi, this is Dee Thomas, and I just want to share with you a really quick overview of GoGuardian for teachers. This is a quick start guide that'll get you started using GoGuardian with your Chromebooks for your students. Lots of different features with it. We'll take a look at some of the major features. First of all, I am going to go to goguardian.com/teacher. And that brings me to the website. I click sign in, and I am going to sign in with my Google account, with my Google District credentials. I click sign in, and what this does is it opens up the GoGuardian dashboard. You can see here that I have already imported 3 classes from Google Classroom. Because it works seamlessly with Google Classroom, this is the best way to bring your students into GoGuardian. So in order to do that, I come up here to my classroom menu, and this is set up very, very similar to Google Classroom. You'll see a lot of the same menu items in the same place. So I come up here to my classroom. If I choose on all classrooms, it brings me to the screen that we're looking at right here. If you can see that it has been imported, a class has been imported through Google Classroom because the G symbol is right here. If I want to bring in a new classroom to get started, I'm going to come over here to import this through Google Classroom. And I will say right here, if you don't import them through Google Classroom, there are other ways that you can bring your students into GoGuardian. This by far is the best way to do it. And because it automatically syncs every time your roster changes in Google Classroom, you won't have to make those changes in GoGuardian if you bring in your students through Google Classroom. So in order to do that, you click on the Add Classroom. You come down to Add Google Classroom. It will bring up, because you're logged into Google, it will bring up a list of all of your classes that you already have set up in Google Classroom. So maybe I want to set up this class right here. You can see the other ones have already been set up through here. So I choose the name of the class that I want to bring in, the roster. I can set up a schedule here if I choose to. For right now, I'm just going to say skip the schedule because I'm going to start the session manually. And there are all of my students. Now when I go back up here to my menu, my main menu, and I go to, I'm just going to bop in here to first hour. Here you will see, much like Google Classroom, you will see sessions, students, and settings. So if you click on the students, then it shows you here are my 2 test students that I have enrolled in this session. I come over here to sessions, and it shows you all of your previous sessions that they have been in. I simply go to session, and it immediately shows me a thumbprint of each one of my students' devices that are now logged in. You can see John Bon Jovi and Justin Bieber are both logged in. You can see a thumbprint of what each one of them is looking at right now. You can also see down here at the bottom other tabs that they have open, and you can tell by the icon. Like this is a Google Doc, this is Google Classroom, this is a YouTube icon. If I want to see what John Bon Jovi's doing more closely, I can just click on that, and it brings up his screen. So I can also see exactly, I can kind of drill down here and see exactly which one of the sites, the other tabs that he also has open right now. So maybe I don't feel like this YouTube video right here is something that he needs to have open to stay on task. So you have the ability as the teacher to come in here and X that tab out, and you can see now on his screen that he no longer has that tab open in the background. So a really quick way to be able to check, I can close this out by clicking up here. Another thing that I can do is, say over here on Justin Bieber's screen, if I would like to, you can see he has some other tabs open. He's on the World Book site. If I want to, I could put a check mark right here on Justin's screen, and I can say lock screen. And what that will do immediately is I can put a message up here that says, please stay focused. and I can lock that device. And then you'll see in just a few seconds here, Justin's screen will change, and he will get the little goguardian raccoon, and it says browsing is disabled. So you can do this to an entire class if you want to. I can go back and if I want to, I can say select all students, and I can do a lock screen for all students. This is a really good way to get their attention back to the center of the task that you're talking about, or whatever the situation is, just to bring the students, lock their screen. It truly locks it. They cannot do anything except sit there and look at that browsing has been disabled and the little message that you typed there. So if you want to unlock his screen, again, I just click the tab, click his name, and I click unlock screen, and then it picks up right back where he was with all of the remaining tabs still open. Here's another thing that I like to be able to do with my students. If, say, let me close this. If John Bon Jovi, say I put a check mark beside his name, say I just want to send him something, point him to a specific location. I put the check mark by his name, and I can say open tab up here, and then I can copy and paste the URL of another site that I want him to go to, which will automatically open that tab on his device. So say I would like him to go to, and I'm just going to open another tab out here. I'm going to go out here. I have something already saved in my toolbar, and it is a Stay Focused PNG, so I'm going to just copy the URL for that, and I'm going to go back to the other tab, and I'm going to paste that in there, and then I'm going to say, okay, open that tab for Mr. Bon Jovi, and what he will see in just a few seconds, you'll see it on your screen, is he will get a tab open that says Stay Focused and Work Hard. And you can do this with an image, you can do this with a specific website that you think that student may be interested in, or it may help his research. He still has the ability, even though you've done that, to go back and click on another website now, and he can go over and get back to work, but he knows that you have just sent him a little message to stay focused or point him in the direction of something else. One other thing really quick that I really like, if I want to send them a personal message, I can come up here, say I have John Bon Jovi checked. Whoops. I can say enable chat, and I get a little chat bar down here beside me, and that allows me to have a conversation with one of my students, a very private conversation. So I'm going to say, thanks for staying on task today, and I'm going to click enter, and immediately on his screen he sees the little message. No matter where he is in the browser, he gets this little message from the teacher. And then he can also, when he wants to, he can click on that message and he can respond to you just back to the teacher, not to another student, but he can say thanks. And he can respond, and you can see on my screen that he just said thanks. So it's really a quick, easy way for students to ask a question if they want to. Just open up something, a dialogue with the teacher. This is really helpful if you're doing like online assignments and not having a lot of face-to-face contact with your students, or even if they just need a little bit of extra help in private. So that's basically, if I want to, also I can go to the timeline. So over here, don't know why that keeps popping up. Over here where it says screens, I can bring this to my drop down and say timeline, and this allows me to look at every place that my students have been on their computers browsing while this session has been open. So you can see the time here. I can scroll back to previous times. It gives me little icons. So if I want to click on this, it tells me that he is in the World Book Advanced, but it also tells me that these tabs are open. I can scroll through and see exactly where Mr. Bon Jovi is down here, and it just gives me a really good snapshot. Here's the image that I put up, and it gives me a really good snapshot of where my students are spending their time. I can also come over here, say I'm back here in sessions or on screens, and screen view is only active for active sessions. Okay, let's go back to timelines. If I am watching one of my students, I'm going to go back to this session. I can take an immediate, looks like my session is ended, so I want to start that session again. I think I had a Windows error message pop up that ended my session maybe. I can do a screenshot. Say that I have a student that is out here on a website, maybe this website right here. I can come out here, say this student is at an inappropriate website and I want to take a recording of that or just proof that they are not staying on task. I have a little camera icon right here and I can take that snapshot by simply clicking on that, and maybe that student is staying on task and it's a positive thing, so I take a snapshot and I can reward the student with that by showing them that I saw that. I gather those snapshots by coming to my drop-down menu again. I say snapshots, and there's the snapshot, which can also be downloaded from there. So again, you have sessions. You want to be sure when you go to a session that's already open that you end the session. When you're finished with it, you can set up a schedule for the sessions. That's a little bit more of an advanced feature, but you can definitely do that. There's more about that on the handout. You want to be sure that you end the session when you're finished with it, so your students no longer are taking up a license for goguardian if you're not using it. Again, I highly recommend that you import those classrooms through your students through Google Classroom, and then you also have a settings tab, which is also one of the more advanced, where you can manage your classroom, more of an advanced feature. So you've got a menu over here on the side that takes you to each one of your Google Classrooms. You've got scenes, which is a more advanced feature that we'll talk about later. You've got session students and settings. I really am excited about this tool to put it in the hands of all of you wonderful Chromebook users. I think it'll make a big difference in allowing your students to better use their technology. Have any questions, give me a call or send me an email, dthomas@bentonvillek12.org. Thanks.